Meghan Markle, she is in now big trouble after the bombshell statement made at the court by her former aide, communication secretary Jason Knopf. What happened is she wrote a letter to her father a couple of years ago, and she said about that letter she wrote to her father, private and deeply personal. In other words, do not mess up with this. She was indirectly referring to the media. Do not talk about this letter. This is very, very private and deeply personal. Don't talk about this letter. What the Daily Mail did and the Associated Newspapers Limited, what they did is that they quoted this letter from Meghan Markle in their following articles. And Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, they freaked out. In fact, Prince Harry, he was so angry, he said, do you guys not know what Meghan Markle went through, what she went through last 2 years? This is exactly what he said. He was very, very mad. She wrote the letter. She then decided, I'm going to sue these companies, these newspapers, Daily Mail and the Associated Newspaper Limited. She went to the court and then she sued them. And the judge, his name is, I believe, Derby. I'm not sure exactly what the name was. He's not Justice Warby. He said that, okay, Meghan Markle, she has all the right to keep things private, and you guys, the media guys, do not have the right to violate her privacy. Therefore, she was given a verdict in her favor by the judge. So that happened, and then she was happy. Time went by. All of a sudden, her former communication secretary, Jason Knopf, he came out with a new bombshell statement. He said that the letter Meghan Markle wrote had all the potentiality for it to be leaked in the public. Means Meghan Markle knew that there is a possibility that this letter that she is writing to her father would go to the media, it will be leaked. But Meghan Markle is saying, no, that was not the plan. It was very private, very deeply personal. How could this go out? Now this communication secretary, former aide, is claiming exactly the opposite of Meghan Markle and saying that no, this was not the case. In fact, Meghan Markle had the knowledge that it could actually go to the public. And this is why she said, and quote unquote in that email that she sent to Jason Knopf, her communication director, that this letter would pull all heartstrings. Means in case this letter makes to the public, I want to craft the letter in such a way where people will show me sympathy. So that happened, and Jason Knopf now coming out saying that this is what Meghan Markle said about that letter. So that actually opened up a new possibility for the British press to actually solidify their case, go to the court again, and make or ask the judge to, instead of doing a summary judgment, to make it a full and thorough investigation, a thorough court trial. Why? Because number one, they said there is going to be protection issues and copyright issues. They demanded that this whole investigation that Meghan Markle was suing them need to be investigated properly, because there are some issues are involved, so it needs to be thoroughly done. Meghan Markle, she did not have any idea that her own friends would also leak the letter to the media. She told the friends about the letter that she wrote, but she did not know that this same friend would actually use what Meghan Markle said and wrote in the letter in their conversation, in their public talks. So they also revealed it. Now there are few problems, actually two main problems, why this is going to be a big trouble for Meghan Markle. Number one is that this case that Meghan Markle is suing them, there is a good possibility that Meghan Markle will lose this case. This is number one, after the bombshell statement made by her former communication secretary. And number two is that her former aide and staffers might be called in to testify against her, against Meghan Markle. This is exactly what she wanted to avoid. She never wanted her staffer, former staffer, to get involved. Now, the biggest problem are many, actually. There is nothing called biggest problem. There are many problems. Number one is this letter was written in such a way she wanted to win the heart and mind of people, knowing that this letter could be leaked. This is why she asked her former communication director, Jason Knopf, should I use the, or should I address my father as daddy? Or should I just call him dear father? Like, what do you want me to do? Can you see it? Because of, if there is any liability, I want you to just double check if there is anything missing, or how should I address my father? She literally said, should I address her my daddy? Number one, it shows that Meghan Markle is really not what she is. Outside, we see that she is having fight. She doesn't like her father. Behind closed doors, she is considering using the word daddy. I mean, why you call your father a daddy if you're so mad at him and you cut him off completely, right? So this is what is happening right now. The other problem that Meghan Markle is facing at the moment is that she is coming out and telling the court one thing when the reality is totally different. In other words, she is misleading the court. And this can be a big and dangerous thing for her. She said this is just a memory lapse. I forgot. I did not know that I instructed my communication secretary to sit down and talk to the author of the Finding Freedom. And that would be the two other, Caroline, I believe she was involved. Caroline was one of the authors, and the other author would be Omid Scooby. So Caroline Duran and Omid Scooby. She said, Meghan Markle said to her communication director, go and sit with them, but she did not tell her communication director, Jason Knopf, that you cannot reveal everything, you have limitation. This was a biography that was written about her, and she provided indirectly all the information that they needed. In other words, there was really nothing private and deeply personal, quote unquote. This is exactly what Meghan Markle said. There was nothing private. There was nothing deeply personal. It was from the day one, Meghan Markle knew it was going to make it to the public. People will know about it. The media will know about it. Nevertheless, she had the audacity to come and claim otherwise, thinking that maybe people are fool enough to believe me. But that is not the case. Now these newspapers, this British press, they are coming after her, saying that you knew these letters will be published, will be released, and will be leaked. Now you're claiming that this was not the case. That is completely unacceptable. And that this trial, the court trial, started from, I believe, from last Monday. It will end on Wednesday, which was yesterday, and the verdict will come out later in the coming days. Maybe it will take some time, but the verdict will come out. Once it does, we do not know if they will need more investigation. If they do, then obviously what I said in the beginning, that they would need to call the former staffer of Meghan Markle to witness and say and testify in the court. Something very, very ominous for Meghan Markle for sure. She did not expect this to happen, but obviously right now she actually can be sued. She can be sued by this press. They might go back to the court and say that Meghan Markle has to pay for all the fees and expenses because they have to hire a lawyer. So they might actually sue Meghan Markle. You never know. And then Meghan Markle will be in. She is already in big trouble with all of this. But if she is getting sued, then obviously it will make it even worse. Normally, I want to make mention of a very important point. Normally, the British royals, they never sue anybody. They never sue anybody. The reason for that is because the attendant publicity will outweigh the outcome of the verdict. Means the publicity that you will get for suing someone, if you're a royal member, and the controversy and criticism and talk that will ensue will be much heavier than your victory. So you do not want to really do it from the beginning, in the first place. Why? Because it's not really worth it. You will be criticized and your life will be miserable, in other words, right? So this is why the British, they do not sue. And This is coming from Johnny Diamond. He said at the time, because the attendant publicity often outweigh any victor in the court, but what threatened to turn into a legal carnival, quote unquote, instead turned into a pretty, quote, pretty thumping victory for the Duchess, he added. The court appeal hearing began on Tuesday. Actually, on A&L's lawyer announced that they wanted to use new evidence because there was no evidence before. There was no Jason Knopf before. Now he's coming out, and they said we now have new evidence. This evidence includes what the Mirror, okay, the newspaper described as a bombshell witness statement from Jason Knopf, her former communication director. Knopf's testimony shows that the Duchess, quote unquote, Meghan Markle considered it at least a serious possibility that the letter would be made public by her father, and crafted the letter with that possibility specifically in mind, lawyers told the court. Andrew Caldecott, he is the lawyer for the newspaper, said Mr. Knopf's evidence cast doubt on the basis of the judge's ruling, quote unquote, judge's ruling in the High Court case, the newspaper reported. The daddy claim make it even much worse for Meghan Markle. You can imagine this is all drama on her behalf. This is what people are interpreting this whole event as, that this is nothing but a new drama from Meghan Markle, calling father daddy when you do not even talk to him. According to her, the former communication guru, Meghan said, quote unquote, obviously everything I have drafted is with the understanding that it could be leaked, so I have been meticulous in my word choice, but please do let me know if anything stands out for you as a liability. In response, the Duchess has told the court the proposition that saying that I recognized that it was possible that my father would leak the letter, albeit unlikely, is the same as saying that I thought it likely that he would do so is, I would suggest, absurd. In other words, she said, no, there was no way I was going to say or believe that my father will leak this letter. Well, you do not know your father? You know, this is just crazy. And he did this before. This is why she doesn't want to talk to him. That this father, Thomas Markle Sr., he always goes to the media and speaks everything, talks about what is happening in the bedroom even. The memory lapse is not an excuse that will cut it for Meghan Markle. She is using that excuse. I forgot. Yes, I emailed my communication director Jason. Oh, I forgot. I did this. Oh, I forgot. Did that. Oh, I forgot. I told my friends. I did not know. I told my friends. Like, she is just coming up with all these excuses. Yesterday, she apologized for failing to remember that she had authorized Knopf to brief the Finding Freedom authors. Now, Knopf's witness statement said that the book was discussed on a routine basis, quote unquote, discussed on a routine basis, and that Markle had given him several briefing points to share with the authors, including how she had very minimal contact, quote unquote, very minimal contact with her half siblings during her childhood. She also mentioned in that book, actually, the author, they mentioned about Meghan Markle mentioning her father, her mother, they got separated when she was only 2 years old. So in other words, Meghan Markle leaked it all. Meghan Markle said it all. The court also heard that Harry had sent Knopf a message that read, now this is Harry's message to Knopf. This is what I was talking about. He said, quote, also, are you planning on giving them a rough idea of what she has been going through over the last 2 years? Media onslaught, cyberbullying on a different scale, puppeteering Thomas Markle, etc., 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 end quote. This is what Harry said to her communication director, Andrew Knopf. Are you crazy? Are you planning on giving them a rough idea? Like, this is what Harry said, trying to defend his wife. Quote, even if they choose not to use it, they should hear what it was like from someone who was in the thick of it. So if you aren't planning on telling them, can I? End quote. In a statement to the Court of Appeal, Markle said, this is what Meghan Markle said, I accept that Mr. Knopf did provide some information to the authors for the book, and that he did so with my knowledge for a meeting that he planned for with the authors in his capacity as communications secretary. The extent of the information he shared is unknown to me. This is what Meghan Markle said. When I approved the message, quote unquote, Meghan Markle, this is what she said, when I approved the message, I did not have the benefit of seeing these emails, and I apologize to the court for the fact that I had not remembered these exchanges at the time. I had absolutely no wish or intention to mislead the defendant or the court. She is coming up with all the, crying face. She is just saying, oh, dear court, please forgive me. I did not know what is going to happen. Why she is doing this is because she knows the repercussion for this is that she could potentially be sued by these newspapers. The apology could be a turning point in the 2-year legal battle, said Gordon Rayner at The Telegraph. He said, quote, not only does this potentially weaken the case against her, it also increases the chances that her former staff may be called to give evidence against her in a public trial, something she has no doubt being desperate to avoid, and quote Rayner, he wrote. The hearing is scheduled to end today. I believe that was yesterday, end of Wednesday, with a ruling expected at a later date. The point here is that Meghan Markle right now, by all means, we can say she is now in big trouble. We do not know what is going to happen soon, but it's not looking good for her at all. Guys, thank you for joining in. She knew exactly what she was doing. Brenda, thank you, Brenda, for that comment. She knew. This is why she said, should I use the word daddy instead of father? To pull the heartstrings. This is an obvious sign that she knew what she was doing, and that she even knew that today you and me will talk about the letter. She knew it all, but she decided to lie about it. What can you do? This is Meghan Markle for you. Again, new here, consider subscribing. Thank you guys for joining in. I'll see you soon again. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care.